So a bunch of the Democratic candidates for 2020 decided, I'm not going to go to AIPAC because it's the Israel lobby, and they lean right, and they're really odious in many ways. And so Democratic candidates are like, I'm not going to do it. Good for them not doing that. Now, Kamala Harris came out and posted a tweet where she's taking a picture with AIPAC and talking about how great they are. That's really dumb and shows you're really out of step with the times, and that's going to hurt you politically. So please, go right ahead, move along, do that. I'd like to see that. But some politicians went there because they are massively pro-Israel. And one of them is Chuck Schumer, senator here in New York. So he went to speak at AIPAC, and he thought it was a good idea to go after Ilhan Omar without naming her, but clearly going after her, and conflate her with Trump and far-right white nationalists and white supremacists.
When someone names only prominent Jews as trying to buy or steal our elections, we must call it out. When someone says that being Jewish and supporting Israel means you're not loyal to America, we must call it out. When someone looks at a neo-Nazi rally and sees some very fine people among its company, we must call it out. When someone suggests that money drives support for Israel, we must call it out.
Okay, that was massively disingenuous. And most of the points he made there were taking on Ilhan Omar. He says, when somebody only names prominent Jews, for taking money in politics or being involved with money in politics, we must call it out. And then he brings up the Trump thing, find people on both sides. And then he says, when you say, money drives support for Israel, we must call it out. You are totally mischaracterizing what she said. She never said it's only Israel where money drives support. Never said it. In fact, she said the opposite. She said it for Israel. She said it for Saudi Arabia. She said we should boycott Saudi Arabia. She also says we should boycott Israel. Now, they would call her an anti-Semite for that, but they don't call her an Islamophobe. She calls for boycotting Saudi Arabia, not an Islamophobe. You call for boycotting Israel, definitely anti-Semitic. You have to understand something, Chuck. You're a hack. You and everybody who went along with this smear are hacks. You're hacks. I find it hard to believe that anybody actually thinks Ilhan Omar is an anti-Semite. I really find it hard to believe. Because she's actually bent over backwards to be clear about all this stuff. She's gone after Saudi Arabia. She's gone after money in politics and the various lobbies. She was part of Justice Democrats. And one of the core things about Justice Democrats, I know because I'm one of the founders, is no corporate PAC money. And the whole reason behind that is we know that money corrupts politicians. So if you take money from corporations, it's human nature to want to do the bidding of those corporations and help them out. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. You give me money for my campaign, okay, I'll look the other way and give you a tax credit or something when I'm in office. So part of her core ideology when it comes to politics is the correct point that money influences politicians. She never said it was only Israel. You're saying that she said it was only Israel, and you're being massively disingenuous. And also what you're doing is dangerous. And I've seen this so much recently. They try to equate, like, oh yeah, it's anti-Semites. They got crazy anti-Semites on both sides, bro. What? What I hear from people on the left is, oh my God, Israel needs to stop permanently occupying Palestinian land. They need to stop effectively having an apartheid system of government, and they need to make a peace deal. And we're going to be very critical of Israel. That's what I hear on the left. On the right, yeah, there's a faction of the right that's flat out anti-Semitic. As Adam Johnson says, there's a difference between saying the bankers control the system and the bankers with 3 parentheses on each side of the word bankers control the system. One of those things is massively anti-Semitic, and they're saying secret Jewish money controls everything, and it's the Jews who secretly run the world. That's what anti-Semites on the far right are saying. On the left, nobody says that. Nobody I've seen. Maybe there's a handful of people who I don't know, who I've never seen, but all the criticisms that get called anti-Semitic on the left are people saying what Ilhan Omar said, which is just money controls politics and Israel is no exception to that rule, or they go after the Israeli government for being a terrible human rights violating government. And they are that, but they get called anti-Semitic for calling it out. So this is massively disingenuous. And by the way, they did this. We covered the story. I think it was either Schumer or Hillary Clinton or one of them spoke at AIPAC a few years back. And they literally said, like, BDS is anti-Semitic. So you see the problem here? They conflate any criticism of Israel with hating all Jews. It is a cheap, gross trick. And they do it because they actually can't respond on the substance. The substantive point that Ilhan Omar was making that led to all this meltdown where everybody in Washington, D.C. accused her of being an anti-Semite was, it's all about the Benjamins, meaning what? AIPAC buys politicians in the U.S. to be pro-Israel. Again, it's not specific to Israel. It's all lobbies. That's what they're trying to do. That's the whole point of a fucking lobby. But her point was it's all about the Benjamins. Israel, the Israel lobby is trying to buy politicians to be pro-Israel. And you know what? That's 100% correct. And the records prove it. The records prove it. What do we do, a $38 billion weapons deal with a government that just in 2014 massacred Palestinian civilians, including 80% civilians and 500 children? This is the government that the UN is always saying, stop with your illegal settlements. This is the government that we pretend to care about human rights, and then we give them $38 billion in weapons? You want to know why we do that? Because it is all about the Benjamins. It is all about the Benjamins. So these liars, they're liars. That's what he is. He's a liar. Chuck, you're lying. That's what you're doing. Money does control politics, and Israel is no exception. And no, she didn't say it's only Israel. You're saying she said that because you're trying to smear her. Now, don't turn around then and scream about unity. Don't you dare fucking do that. Because that's a trick, again, from the establishment Democrats to try to make the left stop taking over the party because it's working. That's why we got Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. That's how we got Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib and Ro Khanna and others. Is because we have people who are running in an unapologetically leftist way, and guess what? They're the most popular people in the House. So what's the trick you use? Oh my God, stop this populist left insurgency from taking over the party. Unity, unity, unity. I saw the other, just last night, Justice Democrats apparently is promising the Democrats, don't worry, we're only going to go after safe seats. So we're not going to go after the unsafe seats because we don't want to, threaten unity. Excuse you? The whole point of Justice Democrats is that we realize a populist left philosophy wins everywhere. There is no unsafe seat and safe seat. That's not a thing. When our ideology appeals to people across the board, except in the most wealthy districts, by the way, because populism doesn't sell when you're already doing really well and you're one of the elites. But it works in red states, it works in blue states. It works in all different kinds of districts. So, no, don't let them gaslight you, and that's what they're doing. They're gaslighting everybody. We can't... Unity! Anyway, now let me equate Ilhan Omar with Donald Trump and Ilhan Omar with far right-wing white nationalists. I care so much about unity, which is why I'm going to shiv the young, really interesting, and really good Democrat that was just elected who's changing the game. I care so much about unity that I'm going to keep shivving the left. Fuck you, man. No, we're coming after you, dude. We're coming after you. You're the old guard, and you're wrong about so much, and it's embarrassing. You voted for the Iraq War, dude. Retire. You voted for the Iraq War, an illegal offensive war against a country that didn't attack us, which cost $7 trillion when all is said and done. Over 4,000 Americans dead. Minimum 200,000 Iraqi civilians dead. And you're going to lecture anybody about anything? I mean, you were against the Iran deal. So apparently, you agreeing with Trump is you being reasonable, but Ilhan Omar speaking the truth about money and politics is anti-Semitic. You suck at your job, dude. You suck at your job.